Assalamualaikum everyone. Today we'll be talking about the first process in cellular respiration, which is glycolysis. Glycolysis can be divided into two phases. The first phase is energy investment phase, and the second phase is energy payoff phase. And today we'll go through the first phase, which is the energy investment phase. So, what exactly happened, do you think, during the energy investment phase? During the energy investment phase, the energy investment phase can be divided into five different steps, which is the first one is phosphorylation of glucose, the second one is isomerization of glucose 6-phosphate, the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. I know all of this might sound a little bit overwhelming and confusing, but don't worry, we'll go through all of it and I'll explain it the easiest way possible. Let's go to the first process, which is phosphorylation of glucose. We started off as glucose and the enzyme hexokinase. The hexokinase will catalyze the first reaction or the first process in glycolysis, which is phosphorylation of glucose, which involves ATP, which hexokinase will transfer the phosphate group from the ATP into the glucose, which in turn the ATP will turn into ADP after it loses its phosphate group, and glucose after receiving the phosphate group will becomes glucose 6 phosphate. So yeah, the second process is isomerization of glucose 6 phosphate. This process involves the enzyme phosphoglucoisomerase. I think at this point you all might already be familiar with the word isomer. But just in case you didn't know, isomer is a molecule that has the same chemical formula but different structural form. It is still the same molecule but just in a different shape. So in this case, phosphoglucoisomerase will turn or convert glucose 6 phosphate into fructose 6 phosphate. It is still the same chemical something, but now it's just in a different structural form. The third one is phosphorylation of fructose 6 phosphate. Phosphofructokinase works the same as the enzyme hexokinase, whereas the phosphofructokinase will transfer the phosphate group from the ATP to fructose 6-phosphate, which in turn fructose 6-phosphate after receiving the phosphate group from the ATP will become fructose 6-bisphosphate, and the ATP after it loses its phosphate group will become ADP. The fourth is cleavage of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. This whole process will be catalyzed by the enzyme aldolase. Aldolase will split the molecule in half. So now you have two different molecules. The first one is you have the hydroxyacetone phosphate, which you already know as the HAP, and the second molecule is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, which is G3P. So yeah, now you have two completely different molecules during this process. On to the next process, which is the fifth one, is the isomerization of the HAP. Isomerization of the HAP is exactly what it sounds like. The HAP will convert or will change into something else. In this case, the enzyme triose phosphate isomerase will convert the hydroxyacetone phosphate HAP into G3P, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. So now at the end of this process, you will have two molecules of G3P. To summarize, in energy investment phase, you will use one molecule of glucose and you will use two molecules of ATP, and at the end of this process, you will produce two molecules of G3P. So yeah, that's it for the energy investment phase.